Okay. I want to know if we could get hardcore here for a few minutes. I'll try to be very succinct, and I apologize to anybody else for all the prior videos where I repeat myself. I know that's an issue I have, so humble apologies for that. None of us are perfect, right? Here I have two identical Nikon D500s, except one's got a vertical grip on it, right? I've been asked many times, like, of primary cameras, why do I keep a pair? And I just sold off 3 cameras. I knew I was going to buy a Fuji X-T2. Now that I've test-driven the Fuji X-T2 extensively, I knew I was going to buy one just to review it, and I knew it would be a much better camera. But after I test-drove the Fuji X-T2, and it just blew my underwear right off my butt, I sold 3 older cameras. And so I'd have a set of Fuji X-T2s. This is in direct reference to how a real professional photographer works, okay? And if you ask any real professional photographer, and I don't mean these goofballs on YouTube, because 98% of them, as I said in a prior video, I apologize, but I don't apologize. I don't respect their advice on photography. I don't. I may be rude, a little bit brusque, and have a crazy voice, and repeat myself, but I know nonsense when I see it, okay? Let's talk about why there are 2 cameras here, and let's make a reference to another video. About 9 months ago, some famous photographer, and I'm using quotation marks here, was complaining, and a very valid complaint, very valid, about Sony's absolutely horrible customer service and how horribly he was treated when he sent in his camera, and he was totally right about that. He sent in the camera to Sony, and this dude, has got, one of the top 2 or 3 photography channels on YouTube. If I were Sony, I'd be like, dude, this guy's got a broken Sony. Let's send him out another new one right away. I would be like saying, sir, we are going to overnight you a new camera. Just send that one in. Because that's a lot of free advertising. But that is not about this. He was absolutely right in all the horrible things Sony customers... This is not about Sony, okay? He was 100% right about one thing and 200% wrong about something else. Okay? Back when I was a dirt poor student in photography school, I had a Nikon F4S. It was the professional film camera, okay? Back then, very expensive. I was a poor schmuck student. I scrimped together my pennies, and I had to have 2 of those because you have to have redundancy. Anything that has more than 2 parts is going to break down, okay? Just fact. I don't care who the hell makes it, Sony, Nikon. So he was right to complain about Sony's horrible customer service. What he was 200% dead wrong about is what every real professional photographer knows. And that is that you have a redundant body of your primary working. See, now, I wrote, for example, the article for Apple.com on Apple's website on data redundancy and data archiving. And you see the way it works is that camera bodies and data redundancy is the same thing. It's like whatever you got, everything that's important in life, other than your body, you've only got one, is like redundancy, 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 and more effing redundancy. So while he was correct about the fact that the Sony camera customer service sucked, my point is that someone that has substantial funds, like, every true professional and real photographer knows that you got to have a backup body, okay? It's like, this one's going to crap out, or this one, I'm going to have another one while this one's getting repaired. If this one breaks, I'm going to be using this one while this one's getting repaired. My point is to you is that 20 plus years ago, while I was in photography school, when I was a poor schmuck, and I could afford a backup body of that expensive Nikon F4S, then I'm pretty sure it was someone with a lot more money than me as a poor student 20 years ago. If that was one of their primary working cameras, then you should have had a redundancy. And I get asked this question, why the hell you got 2 of those cameras? Why the hell do you got 2 D500s? Why the hell? That is why the hell. It's because just like hard drives, in hard drives you actually have to have way more than 2. You have to have a primary, a backup, a redundancy, and then you have to have long life archival on the really, really important stuff, but that's another discussion. This is what every true professional, real photographer, big R, real photographer knows. And if as a poor student I could have a redundant backup to my primary, then this person, if they were a real photographer, I said if, would have a redundant backup. And this is why, since I get asked this question all the time, it's like, why do you got two of those cameras? That's really ridiculous. Because these are my primary working cameras. You know, believe it or not, even though I'm a private person and I'm on social media, which is YouTube, I'm actually pretty private. You know, everybody keeps asking, why don't you just flash all your stuff out there for the world to see? Because people call me. And if I do a gig and I get paid to do it, I don't disappoint people. Okay? Whether someone believes that or not, I don't give a damn. All I have to do is that if someone pays me to do a job, I do it damn well. I arrive on time. I always arrive early, actually. And I hit it right. And this is why I've always got a backup. This is why there are two Nikon D500s here. And so my point is, as well, just as a point of reference, you know, something that real photographers know, if you're going to complain about Sony's customer service, which is utterly, completely valid, and a totally valid complaint, because their service sucks, and they don't even repair their own cameras, they outsource it to a company whose reputation is beyond horrible. All of that is valid about Sony. My point is that you're complaining about one camera that you kept having to send back and back, and that was valid, but you should have had a backup, because every professional real photographer knows to have a redundant backup. That's it. It's undeniable. It's irrefutable. I don't care if you complain about this video or piss and moan, but what I said is the damn fact. And you go ask any professional photographer, and you just go like this, hello, Mr. Professional so-and-so, your primary working camera, do you have a backup, a redundant backup? Yes, I do. I do indeed. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. If they don't have the same redundant backup, what they will have is something else very, very close or equivalent. So if this one has to go into the shop to be fixed, these things break down. If you use them, you beat them, you're sitting out there slapping them around in various conditions, it's gonna break. I don't care who makes it. Some are certainly more durable than others. We all know that. Did you catch my point on that one? Did you feel me? Did you feel the information pass from my microphone and my ugly face into this video that I made? Because those are the facts. So now you know why I have two of the exact same camera. Okay? I used this camera today. If it broke down, if it broke down, I was like, oh God, I'm sorry, I look like a dumbass. I can't finish the rest of the shoot. No. Give me 5 seconds while I unmount the lens off of this camera and I stick it on this camera. You're out there with one camera and 4 lenses and a studio strobe and 2 speed lights and a reflector. Like, oh, damn, we're going to have to cancel this shoot because my camera broke down. And they're like, what? Aren't you a professional? Don't you have a backup? I'm like, oh, no, I just got this one camera. No. They're going to think to themselves, well, screw you. We're never going to hire you again. You're unprofessional. Any professional has a backup. Backup. You know the people that ride on the Tour de France? You know, the professional bicyclists? Do you know how many backup bicycles that they pack around with them on their team? I think the average is like 6 or 7 redundant bicycles. 6 or 7. I want you to tell me what the F difference you think there is between a professional bicyclist in the Tour de France and a professional photographer. You certainly don't need 5 redundant backups. But you sure as hell do need one of them. Otherwise, you look like a dumbass. And you look like you're unprofessional. Oh my God, my camera broke or something happened. And oh my God. You carry backup batteries, don't you? Like, oh my God, my battery died. Will you give me a few hours while I charge my battery? No, you carry backup batteries, don't you? Don't you? You also need to carry a backup camera. If it's a serious gig, if you're traveling light, if you're going downtown to shoot a gig, I know you ain't taking a redundant body, Maybe you keep it in your car. You keep it somewhere back at the hotel room. I know you're not packing it out, someone's trekking 100 miles through the woods to capture bears. You're going to wing it. Even then, those people actually do pack redundant bodies. I know for a fact those people, even though they'll take some super huge, heavy lenses, they will have in a Ziploc bag, actually not a Ziploc, but one of the professional sort of Ziploc bags, a redundant body. So there's professional tip of the day. That's what a real professional photographer does. And that's why there are 2 of these cameras sitting here. Not because it's like, well, one's good, 2 must be better. No, that's not the reason.